From Obscurity to Billionaire, the story of DeepSeek's Liang Wenfeng. In the world of cutting-edge technology and billion-dollar valuations, few names have emerged as quietly and as powerfully as Liang Wenfeng. The founder and mastermind behind DeepSeek, China's most formidable challenger in the artificial intelligence space, rose from near total obscurity to become a global force in less than a decade. This is not the story of a man who courted fame or headlines. It's the story of quiet genius, relentless focus, and the pursuit of a singular dream to create machines that could think, learn, and understand like humans. Liang Wenfeng didn't set out to be a billionaire. In fact, those who knew him in his early years would describe him as reclusive, humble, and wholly uninterested in wealth or status. But destiny had other plans. Today, DeepSeek competes directly with giants like OpenAI, Google DeepMind, and Baidu. Its models are deployed across sectors, from national security to education, healthcare, and enterprise solutions. It's not just a company. It's a symbol of what is possible when raw intelligence meets purpose. But how did this unassuming young man from a modest background end up shaping the future of artificial intelligence? This is the untold story of Liang Wenfeng, from obscurity to billionaire. Born in the late 1980s in a small rural town in China's Sichuan province, Liang Wenfeng grew up in an environment defined by scarcity. His father was a mechanic, and his mother worked in a textile factory. Neither had attended college. Yet both emphasized the importance of education with near-religious fervor. Liang was a quiet child, often found sitting under a tree with a book or tinkering with scraps of electronics salvaged from junkyards. At school, he showed extraordinary promise, especially in mathematics and logic. Teachers described him as otherworldly, not just a student who studied hard, but one who saw patterns others couldn't. Despite the lack of resources, Liang managed to get his hands on an old second-hand computer. It changed his life. With no internet at home, he read manuals, debugged broken code, and eventually began writing simple programs, most of them games or tools to automate schoolwork. The local high school, impressed by his talent, arranged a scholarship that helped him enroll in a top university in Beijing. There he encountered the internet for the first time in a meaningful way, and with it, access to the global tech community. But while his peers were dreaming of jobs at Tencent or Alibaba, Liang had other ideas. He wasn't interested in making apps or joining the next tech boom. He wanted to solve harder problems. He wanted to build thinking machines. University life was a revelation for Liang. Surrounded by driven, high-achieving students and world-class faculty, he found an environment that nurtured both his intellect and curiosity. He majored in computer science with a focus on machine learning, at the time a niche and somewhat underappreciated field. But Liang saw its potential. He spent nights in the university's computer labs, experimenting with neural networks and training small models with whatever limited computing power he could access. He joined online forums and open-source communities where he interacted with AI pioneers from around the world. From GitHub to Archive, he absorbed everything he could about deep learning, natural language processing, and cognitive modeling. What fascinated Liang wasn't just the mechanics of AI, it was the philosophical question underneath it. Can machines truly think? Can they feel, reason, or even dream? These weren't questions his professors encouraged, but they were ones he couldn't stop asking. By his third year, Liang was building his own versions of early transformers. These models were rudimentary compared to what would come later, but they showed impressive accuracy on Chinese language datasets. More importantly, he began thinking not just as a coder, but as a system designer. He understood that the future of AI wouldn't be in individual programs, but in cohesive architectures, frameworks that could learn from massive, diverse data sources and generate novel outputs. He wanted to build systems that could teach themselves new languages, write poems, solve equations, and hold conversations. It was during this period that he wrote a paper, published under a pseudonym, on contextual inference models for multilingual AI. The paper gained traction in niche academic circles and was cited by researchers abroad, including teams at MIT and ETH Zurich. Still, few knew the author was a Chinese undergraduate student working without institutional funding. Rather than take a lucrative offer from a tech firm upon graduation, Liang decided to go underground. He declined job interviews, moved into a low-rent apartment in the outskirts of Beijing, and focused full-time on developing his first major project, an AI framework he called DeepSeek. The name wasn't chosen at random. It symbolized his philosophy to seek deeply into the nature of intelligence, beyond algorithms and datasets, into the fabric of cognition itself. He wanted to build something that could challenge, not copy, human thought. With a borrowed laptop and an aging GPU, he began laying the groundwork for what would become one of the most influential AI companies in the world. Liang's first iteration of DeepSeek was crude but full of potential. Working in isolation, he built a model that demonstrated remarkable language processing ability on Chinese text. It was lightweight, efficient, and surprisingly accurate, far exceeding what most open-source models at the time could accomplish. With only modest computational resources, he optimized the model architecture for memory and training speed. This alone caught the attention of AI engineers on niche forums. He began publishing test results and open benchmarks under the alias Liang89. Before long, he attracted a small but loyal group of collaborators and contributors from both China and abroad. In 2017, Liang released DeepSeek 1.0, a compact transformer-based model focused on Chinese-English translation, named entity recognition and sentiment analysis. The release sparked unexpected buzz within China's academic AI circles. Its multilingual capabilities, despite its small size, shocked many researchers who had long assumed only Silicon Valley giants could build such systems. While most startups sought VC funding before product launch, Liang took a different route. He open-sourced the core of DeepSeek to establish credibility and transparency, offering public APIs for free to students, researchers, and educators. This created grassroots traction, and soon major academic institutions in China started adopting DeepSeek's engine for their own research. That same year, a Shanghai-based health tech startup approached Liang to integrate DeepSeek into a Chinese diagnostic chatbot. The results were groundbreaking. The bot could handle medical inquiries in multiple dialects, maintain logical flow in conversations, and recommend next steps with uncanny precision. It wasn't perfect, but it was better than anything they'd seen. The success of that integration led to Liang's first strategic partnership. The startup offered partial funding and a shared R&D team, giving DeepSeek access to better GPUs and cloud resources. Liang finally had the infrastructure to scale. In 2018, DeepSeek officially incorporated as a company. Liang brought on two co-founders, an ex-Tsinghua data scientist and a Taiwanese software architect, and they moved operations into a modest shared workspace in Shenzhen. Their vision? To build China's first world-class open-access AI platform. Within a year, DeepSeek 2.0 launched with a host of improvements. It could translate across 7 languages, write short-form content, analyze financial sentiment, and even generate educational material tailored for different age groups.